Hi, I'm Chris, the practicing artist, and welcome to an early morning in my studio. Today, I'm just going to go really quickly and explain to you what my game plan is with this one. I did this while I was teaching a class recently, while my students were working on something else. And it's very quick, and I wasn't able really to focus on it because there was a lot of up and down. So I want to go back and kind of build on some of these washes. I like what happened here, which is the hills that are distant in the background. This is okay, but I think what I want my eye to go to are these bright colored autumn leaves on these trees more in the foreground. I want to keep this area subdued to here, slowly start building on this and start building on these colors here, and not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. This I think I'm going to leave, but I'm not sure. But my main focus will be working on this area over here. All right, so like I explained, I'm going to try and build on these colors a little bit. I have some cadmium yellow orange here, and I'm going to throw in some alizarin crimson. I'm going to just, whoops, that's a little heavy, don't you think? I'm just going to go in, and notice I dab more than I put on. That's because I don't always feel really confident when I work, and I think that's normal for a whole lot of us, is that we get kind of nervous. When I do this, I always try to keep in mind that my warm colors will come forward and my cool colors will go in the back. And I've got a mixture, you probably can't see it, of alizarin crimson and some magenta. And I'm going to try and put some of that over here and let this mixture that's wet kind of work its magic. I still think that's a little intense on these colors. I'm not letting the paint and the water do the work. I'm trying to manipulate it too much. Let's go over on this side and just try not to cover the whole area. I'm trying to cover like a third of it, and I have an awful lot of water in this mix. Not sure I like it. I'm going to throw in some more orange here and there, like kind of let it blend here and there. I tend to work very impressionistic. Pardon my hand, by the way. Very loose, not too controlled. I'm going to throw some burnt sienna in here too, I think. Burnt sienna we think is a brown, but really it's got a lot of red to it, and I use a lot of burnt sienna in my work. I kind of like what's going on there. Maybe some burnt sienna up here, and I'm starting to use less water, which is what I should have done in the first place. All right, what else do we want to do? I don't want to do too awfully much. Do I want to drop some burnt sienna in here? Let's get some more paint. Just drop it in here and there. Manipulate it. Lift it again. It's a push-pull thing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm really obsessed with that orange, and I don't think I should be obsessed that much. So I'm going to knock some of it down by putting some magenta here and there. If you look at leaves from a distance, they look beautiful, and then you get up close to them and it's sort of sad. They don't always have perfect color like we think they should. Throw some red up here. Sometimes I put the color down and then I lift it, or I'll put water in there. And I can see where this is popping a little bit more. Maybe throw some here. Don't want to overwork it. The whole point of this one is just to make it loose, to capture that moment. I like that burnt sienna. starting to bring it in here more and more, kind of defining things a bit more. All right, let's see. It's kind of dried a little bit. What else do I want to do? Let's see, how about adding some more color to the foreground? My problem is, and we all have problems with painting, is I tend to overwork my paintings. I will not leave well enough alone. I just think I have to do more because it's just going to be better if I do more. And we all know that's not necessarily the way it's going to go. So I'm going to go through and just add some darker values here. I see a little bit of what I would like to put some sort of a little bush down there, a little red bush. Pop that color a little bit more, dot some things. Again, this is not a finished painting. This is almost like a color study. Don't want to overdo that green. Green is nice, but boy, it can come back and get you if you put too much of it down. Sometimes it's better to let the paint dry and then add your darker values. And remember, it's always the more water you add, the thinner your color will be, the less intense. The values will be a lot lighter. So you want to kind of measure how much water you do. I usually start out wet, very wet, and then I start using less and less water on my paints. And what am I doing right now? I'm doing a mixture of purple and blue just to get some texture in here, not awfully wet, just very random. And I think it needs a little bit more warm color. I use a lot of tissues and things when I do this, and this is pretty disgusting. So I keep a good supply of tissues on hand. I'm going to add some of that cadmium orange here and there, and I'm going to take a chance and bring it here. It's almost, it blends subtly with the darker values that I put down, but I kind of like bringing that warm color in, and I think I got some burnt sienna mixed in there too, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I got some globs of paint. I've lately started using, not for any particular reason other than I like how it feels, the side of my brush for a lot of things. I see a lot of people painting like this, which is fine, but the side of your brush, especially when you're doing dry brush, will give you some great effects. And I don't know if I want to do any more with that. I think I want to put some dark here to differentiate between this area and this area. This particular photograph, well, this particular painting is based on a photograph I took in the mountains of North Georgia, where I live. I used to live by the ocean, and now I live in the mountains. And this is a hiking trail in a park called Smithgall Woods. And this area through here is a mountain called Mount Yonah. And you go to the top of the trail. In the fall, you get a great view shooting out that way with these trees all around it. Now, this is looking a little dull. What do I want to do? Well, let's see. Red is, I like red, but boy, sometimes it is not my favorite because of situations like this. It's so intense. I tend to like to go with my more subtle colors. I think I also want to do a little painting around here like that to kind of make these bushes pop out more. I'm not doing any particular brush strokes. I'm picking up on the negative space in between so they pop and show just a bit more. I don't know if I'm going to like this when it's done. But it's anytime you paint, whether you like it or not, I consider it a good exercise. A lot of times I have students in my classes that go, I hate what I just did. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't go where you think it's going to go, especially with watercolor. It's its own little beast. My theory on watercolor is the less you do with it, the better it will look. I think what I'm going to do is do a blue-green, ultramarine blue and sap green mixture here also just a bit to kind of differentiate this. I don't want to do too much because this is so nicely diffused. Bring that out just as if there was another bank of hills here. We have a lot of hills. We're not as mountainous, say, as the Smokies are, or even the mountains in Asheville. If you go on the Blue Ridge Parkway, you'll see some beautiful, beautiful ranges and ridges and mountains. We're not quite that intense here. How about we run a little bit of this orange burnt sienna mixture here? Not a lot. Still wanting to diffuse it. I think I'm going to stop because I really feel like I am overworking it, but I wanted to just pop those colors a little bit more. Maybe very loosely put some red in here, and it's alizarin crimson. I tried using the cadmium red and I wasn't happy with it, but just to bring in the color that I've used here up on these trees a bit more. So we're going to just do that. Again, not a finished product, maybe a study for a larger watercolor or even in oil. I also paint in oil. Kind of a difficult transition when you're working with it, and oil is my challenge. Watercolor is what I feel most comfortable with, and I've done for over 30 years. Oil I've only worked on for about 10, 15, and it does kind of sometimes stump me. I think I'm going to stop there. Although, well, see, this is what I do. I kind of start messing. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do feel like I want to bring some of these trees out by putting a darker value around them. And I'm not being really particular. This is my abstract expressionist mood. And okay, I'm stopping. So this is what I did. I took an existing piece that I had done with some washes on it, and I just kind of built up on them. Not the best piece, not the most perfect piece, but it gives you an idea on how you can kind of build and intensify your color with watercolor. I hope this helps you with your painting, and hope you'll be able to find some more of my YouTube videos that help you with your work. Thank you so much for watching today, and above all, just keep practicing.